Welcome back, ladies, nerds, nerdettes, and all you geeks out there. It's time for another episode of Nerd News and some reviews. Today's episode, we're going to get into George Lucas and his comments on Star Wars Episode 7. And we're also going to get into some comments from Joss Weedon. He finally spoke out about his departure from Marvel. And what are you doing? What? Stop that. Who's doing that? Let's just get to the intro video. Alright guys, it's your boy Dominic. We're going to get into these comments that George Lucas made about Star Wars Episode 7. He said that the film was retro and that Disney is a bunch of white slave drivers. Which begs the question, to my white brothers and sisters, can we make a trade? We will give you Raven-Symoné if you'll give us George Lucas. If we can't have George Lucas, please still take Raven-Symoné. Now, George did back off the comments when he was asked about it at a later date, saying that J.J. Abrams did a great job with Episode 7 and that he's happy that Disney took over the franchise even though he had no hand in these and that they didn't want him around because they didn't want his input. Which, after Episodes 1, 2, and 3, why would you want the input? I mean, look, George Lucas is great. We all love George Lucas for what he did with Star Wars. But the last three, I mean, come on, man. For you to even say that somebody else didn't do a good job is just blasphemy because you had no business making those last 3 episodes, especially with Jar Jar Binks in there. I mean, you had 1, 2, and 3 were just all garbage. I don't care what you Star Wars fans say. I love Star Wars, but you Star Wars nerds, you'll probably defend it to the death, but they were terrible. Dun, dun, this episode sucked, that one did too. Now, did it have a New Hope vibe about it? I must admit it did, but that was kind of the pleasure of it, man. You know, that was my pleasure. The retroness of it, man. It took me back to the originals. Was it as good as the originals? Obviously not, but it was way better than the last 3. J.J. Abrams, you took it back to what we know about Star Wars and what we love about Star Wars, and I had no problem with it, man. George just kind of sounds like a scorned lover. Kind of upset that, you know, he didn't get a hand in it. That's really what it sounds like to me. I love George Lucas, but let's just call it what it is, okay? You know, you got your hardcore nerds out there. I heard a lot of you out there, you don't really like the movie. I loved it. I mean, you want something new, you want something different, but when you got something new and different, you got Episode 1, 2, and 3, and you weren't happy. So J.J. Abrams, he brought it back, man. He brought it back to the old school vibe. I loved it. And George Lucas, you just sounded like a scorned lover right now, man. Speaking of scorned lovers, Joss Weedon is mad at Marvel. I think he mad because they forgot to put an H on his name. Somebody call Pat Sajak and get an H on the scene. I mean, he's always had this holier-than-thou kind of feeling ever since he's been with Marvel. You know, it's been out for a long time that they didn't get along. And I can understand it's probably stressful. You want to do some things your way, and the studio doesn't want to go that way. For instance, you know, he had a situation where he came out a while ago and said that he wanted to do Age of Ultron in the first Avengers, and then they told him he couldn't, so he wanted to get Age of Ultron out before he did depart. So we got it as part 2 of the Avengers saga. But it kind of explains a little bit why Avengers 1 ended up so abruptly. I loved Avengers 1, man. It's one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, but we got to get this out here, right? We've been rolling with this cop-out for a long time now. I know y'all feel the same way I feel, but you won't say it, so I'm going to say it. I got to say it because you ain't going to say it, so I'm going to say it. You know, the part where the movie ends and then he kind of just goes into space and blows up a bomb and everybody just dead. Everybody just fall over. You know, like... You know, come to think of it, probably should have named this episode Crybabies of the Week because that seems to be the ongoing theme with these guys. You know, I love these guys, man. I'm pretty sure y'all do too. They've done great stuff, but man, when you're acting like that, somebody got to call you out. You wasn't going to do it. Somebody had to do it. I guess it had to be me, you know. So let me know how you feel about it, man. Are you agreeing with me? Are you not agreeing with me? Let's agree to agree, all right? So hit the like button and remember to subscribe. Peace.